What's going on out there? I'm Sean Devine. I hope you are doing well today. We're going to talk about clippers and limiters. I got a message actually the other day on my Instagram asking what is the difference between a clipper and a limiter? And I also had some questions about not using limiters at all. What's going to give you the best results? We're going to break it all down. I want to actually demonstrate both of these in a session, the way that I use clippers and limiters on the master bus, but I want to just show you sort of the reasoning of why you would use one or the other and the different effects that you're going to get from using a clipper versus a limiter. So let's dive in. Real quickly and simply, let's break down the difference between a clipper and a traditional limiter, or sometimes called more commonly now a maximizer, which a maximizer is just a limiter with some extra bells and whistles and features. We're going to talk about the limiter in a minute, but this is a clipper. This is one of my favorite clippers called KClip from Kazrog. And what a clipper does is it just says once we go above a certain threshold, our signal reaches this point, it's literally going to clip off the extreme peaks of our signal. So if we've got, loud drums or bass elements or maybe certain parts of a vocal, that stuff is going to literally be chopped off so it can't go above that threshold. And the actual effect, which this is the important part, that is going to be distortion. So it's going to cause this signal to distort because of that clipping. Whereas a limiter, in this case, let's just look at the traditional maximizer in Ozone. I have clipping off here, so we're just using this like a traditional limiter. This is going to say once we hit that threshold or that output level, this is going to actually compress. So a limiter is just a compressor with a really high ratio. Clipping is going to be distortion, and then your limiter is going to be compression. So two completely different sounds and effects, and there's situations where each of these is advantageous. But let me quit talking here. Let's take a listen to, I'm going to just go ahead and disable the maximizer on Ozone, and we're just going to run this into KClip, and this is just the single band. Let's play that back.
Never met a hater with a life I wanna live. If the world don't like me, that's okay, cause I am not their friend. Even when I die, I won't be dead, this life is not the end. God is blessing me, if you don't like it, I would talk to him. Yeah, take it up with God, go ahead and try to stop his plan. God is cooking in my life, I feel like I've been on the pan. Jesus.
So you can hear the low end is getting clipped, and that gives us that loud, aggressive, but ultimately distorted kick drum and low end, the 808. It's a certain effect, right? It's a desired effect. The great thing about KClip is that we can actually go in here and flip this band to 4, which this control can kind of sneak up on you. I missed it the first couple of times I used this clipper, but if we click that, this turns this into a multi-band clipper. If you haven't tried this yet, it's really, really cool to be able to do this. First thing, I'm just going to turn the total input back. I don't know why they've done this in this plugin where when you switch back and forth, it leaves that where you set it on the single band, and then it increases everything else. So anyway, we're going to set the input on this lower band, which is below 100 Hertz. We're going to drop that back a little bit. So you see, I've got that input, or that sort of push into the clip at 3, and then the rest of the bands are at 5. So watch what this does.
Never met a hater with a life I wanna live. If the world don't like me, that's okay, cause I am not their friend. Even when I die, I won't be dead, this life is not the end. God is blessing me, if you don't like it, I would talk to him. Yeah, take it up with God, go ahead and try to stop his plan. God is cooking in my life, I feel like I've been on the pan. Jesus flipped my life around, I feel just like I'm a lead. All these doors been unlocked.
So it just gives you more control to kind of soften up the clipper on the low end, which I think a lot of you are using, just a single band clipper, and you're getting a lot of that distortion in the low end by using it on your master. But being able to do it in multiband, it's going to help you tremendously, gives you a lot more control over the clipper. So now we have our maximizer or the limiter, and I've set this at the same point, at least on our input push here. We're just setting that gain to +5, the same as we had on the clipper, so that we can compare these. And I have, again, upward compression, soft clip, transient. These are all the extra controls that you would get with a maximizer. We're using it as a traditional limiter, leaving the output the same as KClip. And let's hear what this sounds like.
Never met a hater with a life I wanna live. If the world don't like me, that's okay, cause I am not their friend. Even when I die, I won't be dead, this life is not the end. God is blessing me, if you don't like it, I would talk to him. Yeah, take it up with God, go ahead and try to stop his plan. God is cooking in my life, I feel like I've been on the pan. Jesus flipped my life around, I feel just like I'm a lead. All these doors been unlocking because I've been locking in.
That's the difference between compressing and then clipping or distorting. It's smoother. It's not going to sound as aggressive, but the low end is cleaner. If you're listening on bigger speakers, you're going to notice that your subs and all that stuff is a lot cleaner here with the limiter. It's just a different sound. And I generally will use the soft clip, so I'm getting kind of the best of both worlds, because what this will do is it will soft clip before going into the limiter. So that way we're not, pushing some of our extreme peaks into the limiter and having that react more than it should. I have full bounces of the Ozone Maximizer, the KClip single band, and then the KClip multi-band. So I'm just going to go back and forth real quick so that we can A/B them. I think this will give you a much better perspective of what this stuff's doing. So let's start with the single band KClip. We'll go to the multi-band, and then we'll go to Ozone.
Never met a hater with a life I wanna live. If the world don't like me, that's okay, cause I am not their friend. Even when I die, I won't be dead, this life is not the end. God is blessing me, if you don't like it, I would talk to him. Yeah, take it up with God, go ahead and try to stop his plan. God is cooking in my life, I feel like I've been on the pan. Jesus flipped my life around, I feel just like I'm a lead. All these doors been unlocking because I've been locking in. Talking about how good my God is, been, man, how should I begin? Satan tried to come and get me, I'm inside my Father's hand. I was sinking in the deep end, Jesus taught me how to swim. If it wasn't for the deep end, how would I depend? Man, y'all don't really hear what I be saying, no. I got faith like Noah, keep on laughing while I make this boat. I'm so poor in spirit, yeah, my spirit ain't been making dough. I can't even afford ORR, so let's just say I'm po. Yes, I'ma follow Jesus Christ until the day I die. Raising my head straight up like it's noon, yeah, that's my favorite.
The question isn't whether or not to use a clipper versus a limiter. It's which one is going to be appropriate for the session that you're working on. Sometimes you need that raw, punchy, impactful, little bit gritty sound, and that's when a clipper is going to be best on the master. And sometimes you want a fuller, cleaner, more controlled, glued sound, and that's when a limiter is going to work. But if you want my suggestion, it's to use both of them. I use a clipper into a limiter that gives me a little bit of the best of both worlds, and I get control over the transients in a way that I wouldn't get if I was only using a clipper, or vice versa, only using a limiter. Thanks for letting me be a part of your mixing and mastering journey. Hope this was helpful. If you picked anything up in the video, hit that like and subscribe button for more. We'll talk to you soon. Stay blessed.